Hi, today's video is going to be about the spiritual journey. So, when we first start this spiritual journey, everything feels magical. We start learning about energy and crystals and meditation and yoga and all these different things. And it feels like we unlocked a new world. And we look around and we see the beauty in everything and the aliveness. And we think, this is it. I finally made it. But then after a while, we want to share it with people. We want to wake people up to this beauty and this aliveness. So we start to tell people, oh, you should meditate. You should try meditation. You should try yoga. You should really try it. We're all one. This is a beautiful universe. And we start to receive pushback. And people start judging us. And they say, you're really naive. You're not making any sense. What do you mean this is all the universe? We're all one. You're very impractical. And to protect ourselves, we say, either to them or to ourselves, so many people are asleep. They're not awake. I have to babysit everybody. We really feel that. We really feel that frustration and that anger and that resentment. And we don't realize until later, after trying so much of trying to get people to see from our perspective, we don't realize till later that maybe many people don't see how we see the world. Maybe many people are just trying to get through their 9 to 5, trying to keep the lights on, trying to be liked by other people, trying to fit in, trying to be the best, trying to have people look up to them. And it's a painful process as you go deeper into your spiritual journey, because things start to slip away. You start to question, are we all one? Because the people that are saying that I used to identify with, but now I'm seeing contradictions. They're saying we're all one except for Nazis or violence or war. Once that's brought up, now we have enemies and we're not all one. But in my direct experience, I feel like we're all one. And so you start to feel alone because you don't resonate as much with the spiritual communities that you used to resonate with. The meditation circles, the yoga circles, the retreats. Because you start to inquire about this different stuff and you want to share it with other people, and you feel like, oh, we must be like-minded because we have this lightness about us. We talk about energy, we feel energy, we do all this mind-body connection. And you realize pretty quickly that they don't want to hear it. And so you start to feel like you're groundless, like you don't know where you belong. And this is the point where a lot of people start to question if they made the right choice. Start to question if there really is any meaning in life. And this is where nihilism can set in, and this is where the dark night of the soul can come in. But there is something beyond the nihilism and the dark night of the soul, but it's not what you want to hear. Once you go through that and you come out the other side, so to speak, you realize that you're an actor in life. You're playing a role and you're conscious of it now. So before you felt like, you know, life had inherent meaning. You know, work was meaningful, relationships are meaningful. All this stuff is meaningful, and it's a life or death, even though you identified as spiritual and you sensed all these different metaphysical things. At this point, you realize that there's meaning in it, but it's not inherently meaningful. You're creating the meaning, and the external world and the internal world starts to become one. And after a while, if you're open to the experience and you're in an environment and a headspace and many different factors to be able to surrender and understand it and be open to it, you realize that the people that are causing violence and pain, you see yourself within them. And on one level, you realize that we're all that oneness, even the person that's a Nazi, even the person that identifies as being racist, even the person that is causing so much violence, you see yourself in them in the deepest sense. And you also see that you have to set a boundary, that you have to take some measures in your own hand. And that's a massive paradox. And how do you solve that? What you'll realize is after a while, conventional methods don't work the way they used to. Post conventional methods don't work the way they used to. So you start to question, is there a post conventional methods? And you find out there is, but it's not the same as what you expect. So you have to find different ways of expressing yourself because most people won't get it. And there's a sense of freedom and aloneness with a capital A, because you start to see behind the curtain so clearly that not only can you not unsee it, but you can't tell people about it. And you can try to tell people about it, but they won't get it. And that's the challenge of many spiritual teachers. And that's the challenge that we are in. But on another level, if you kind of change your gaze a little bit, you realize that it's not a challenge and everything is just what it is. But this time when you say it, you realize that there's a systemic view and perspective that you now hold, where it's not just we're all one, but you also see stages and systems and all these different interplays, and you see how you're within it as well. And you realize that, yes, people are asleep and you're awake, but you have to play the roles in the game and the play as authentically as you can, because you realize that you finally get into the point where you have enough self awareness to realize that you've always been doing it. The only difference is now you're more conscious of it. And that's why I made this channel, because I can't talk about this elsewhere because it causes friction and it causes misunderstanding. But you need to have a space to be able to be your authentic self. And this is that space that I'm creating on this channel. If you like this video, please subscribe and like and comment so more people can be aware of it. And yeah, my name's Caleb. Take care.